Hey guys, what's going on? It's MajiinBae. Welcome back to the channel. So today, the Legend of Runeterra account just tweeted about 30 minutes ago that they're going to put out another hotfix before the end of the season, which is really nice because the meta's been pretty stale. It's been a 2-deck meta with Aatrox, Vayne, and then the Seraphine Bar decks kind of taking over. And when we saw that there wasn't maybe not going to be a patch, it was a little worrisome, but they decided to hotfix some stuff. So first of all, let's talk about the timing of the patch. Obviously the timing's nice. We want to patch as soon as possible. However, when you read this, it says we're looking at a broader balance patch at the end of the month. This is just a hotfix, but for the time being, we'll be adjusting following cards to create some more space in the meta. What we're confused about, what we don't know yet, is if this is going to be the patch that seasonal is going to be played on, or if by the end of the month they mean the 18th and that we'll have a different patch for seasonals. I think we'll get a bigger balance patch on the 18th, but we'll just have to wait and see. So yeah, without any further ado, let's jump into the actual hotfix here. So the changes are: Back Alley Bar goes from 6 cost to 7 cost. Darkened Aegis does no longer give a point of power, it's just +0/+1 and tough. World Ender starts at 16 mana instead of 13. Fallen Reckoner, the Noxus can't block guys from Red Gwen, go from a 4/3 to a 3/2 and a 6/3 to a 5/2. Vayne finally loses that 4th point of health that made her basically unkillable, and then the level up form still loses that 1 point of health. So instead of being a 4/5 on level up, it's 4/4. These are pretty much like, if you had to say, Majin, give me a band-aid patch, this would basically be what I would give you, like almost to a T. I'm not sure I would have touched Darkened Aegis, but I think it's fine that it's getting nerfed. The card was like really good. I think now it's going to be pretty bad at +0/+1. Now it was like one of the more flexible equipments because you could play Ja Rule for 5 mana, where the other Darken are like prohibitively expensive at 8 mana or plus, right? But the rest of the patch is really nice. Back Alley Bar at 7 mana, I do not believe kills the deck. I think you can absolutely still play the bar decks, but it's going to drop them out of like that high tier 1 spot and probably put them more towards like a tier 1.5, maybe still tier 1, but not like the deck, right? Because right now we have like Aatrox, Vayne in tier 0. It's unbeatable. It's the best deck. And then we have one step under it is the Seraphine Bar decks. And then one step under that is like Red Gwen. And then there's the other decks. What I was worried about is that they were going to hit Bar and Vayne Aatrox and not touch Gwen at all, the Red Gwen deck, because I think that deck would end up being way too good. It would be the best deck again for a competitive season, which would be really annoying. But they did give it a little slap on the wrist, which is very nice. The Fallen and Risen Reckoner card is like insanely powerful. It's so good, especially when you combine it with the Harrowing or the Harrowing, or however it's pronounced. So they'd come back, continuing to grant your things can't block. Just an absolute pain in the ass, nightmare of a card to deal with. On the rest of the patch, let's go over. We talked about Bar. I think the deck's still fine. Vayne Aatrox is also still going to be good. It's going to be less good. It's going to be less fast. It's going to be slightly more fragile. No longer will you see Scoutbird plus Darkened Aegis just absolutely decimate an entire board, right? But the normal lines of play are still there, right? You could still play the 4/3 tough scout guy and tumble a harp on him, right? And it's going to be a pain in the ass for you to deal with. But what's important about these changes, the World Ender going to 16 means that you basically get one more turn before your opponent World Enders. And what made the deck so difficult to deal with was like, yeah, the units are really difficult to deal with and the deck gets a lot of value, but you can kind of stop that, but then they just World Ender you. Like the turn where you stabilize, they just World Ender you and then you would die. Now you get one more turn. And I think that's going to bring Aatrox Vayne down from tier 0 to tier 1. Still think it's going to be a tier 1 deck. I think Aatrox strategies are still incredibly powerful. I expect to see perhaps some more tweaking in an actual balance patch. But for a hotfix patch, honestly, this is fantastic. This is, if all you want is my opinion before you click away on the video, this is a super fantastic hotfix patch. I think what it lets the decks do is the tier 2 decks and the tier 1.5 decks, it gives them room to breathe. Right now, if you weren't playing Seraphine Bar, Bandle City, specifically the Bandle City one, or Aatrox Vayne, I would tell you you're not playing correctly. Like you are inting points just by not playing these decks. Right now with this patch, I think it opens up a lot of different things you can do in the meta. You could start to play a lot of different decks. You like Overwhelm decks, sure, you could play that. Do you want to play different iterations of Bar decks? You could probably play that. Like these it just gives you a lot more options, and that's really all we want, is to be able to play a bunch of different things and maybe not get ran over by a 3/4 Vayne on turn 3 all the time. I like the patch. I'm excited about it. Things I want to see, or things I expect to see, I expect Jinx's stock to rise quite a bit. I think Jinx is one of the strongest champions in the game. I think she was top 3 before this hotfix, and I think she's still. I think honestly, it's still Aatrox, Vayne, and then Jinx. I don't think this balance patch is gonna really like shift it too much, but we'll see. Honestly, just really excited to get back out there. So yeah, that's my really quick review. I expect Jinx to get a lot better. I expect tier 2 decks to be bumped up to tier 1.5. I expect Aatrox, Vayne to come out of tier 0 into tier 1. I expect Bar to be tier 1.5. That's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know it's short, but we'll have to see what the ramifications are over the next few days. Thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you next time.